Howdy, this is Dr. Stacy Lyle. This is for Geography 659 geodatabases. This is the final project, which is worth for 40% of your grade or 800 points. I've broken the points down to 400 points for the project paper, 50 for your methods you use, 50 for your results, and then 300 points for your ArcGIS Online maps and story map. So at the end of this exercise, basically what you're going to be able to do is to design a geodatabase that manages clip data from UAV drone data. You'll have to process the drone data and then build a story map explaining that. The activities will be basically process the drone map, extract, translate, and load geospatial data where the drone has flown, push that to ArcGIS Online, and then publish that as a story map. Now, I'm not going to give a step-by-step in this assignment. It's intended to be just general methods, and this video you can use it to try to complete the activity. So in the assignment, what you're going to do is go through and use some drone processing software. There's some online, such as Pix4D and Drone Deploy, and here's some links to them. You can find other ones that are out there, but you can take the drone data that I put into our site and upload that to the software. And then what you want to do is then go in and use ArcGIS Pro and do a geodatabase project and import that data in. And then you want to import other geospatial data. I have some parcel data, some well data, and other data that you can input. And then I want you to find at least 2 other data sets that you can clip from. You want to clip and add that spatial data. Now, to clip that, what we're going to do is create a clipping polygon or an area of interest where the drone flew and add that to our spatial database, and then publish that to ArcGIS Online, and then make a story map about it. So to begin with, we're going to go in and we're going to set up our geodatabase of our area of interest for where we fly the drones in our spatial database. Now, I'm running from my desktop here, and I have actually installed the SQL management software locally on my PC. Now, you can run the one that's still there on your server, your server, or you actually can download that setup and install it on your local PC. That's what I did. And when I go in there and do that, you'll need to log into that. Now, when you log into the Server Management Studio, it's going to ask you how do you want to connect, and typically you might have been using a Windows authentication. You want to do an SQL authentication. So I'm going to actually go in here and make a new one. I'll use my existing LoudDE one that I have. So if you have go back to your server, if you will, from your virtual server, and connect to it through the virtual server to begin with, and then we'll go in here to the database, and we're going to go in here to security actually, and we see logins, and here we have a whole bunch of logins. I'm going to create a new login, so I'll hit new login here, and then I'll put a new name, and then I'll put Pro User, and I'm not going to use the Windows authentication. I'm going to use the server authentication. So now you need to have like some letters, and then some symbol like the @ or percent sign or star or something like that, and then some numbers. So I'm gonna go in there and do that, and oh, they look like they're the same. Now, one of the things that you want to do is you want to go in there and give yourself access to be able to do everything with your new login from that standpoint, and you might want to give yourself access to all the different databases in there that you have from that standpoint, okay? And when you go in there and do that, if you make something new, it'll allow you to do that. So we've done that. We've built ourselves. We're the master here. We'll leave everything else the same and hit OK from that standpoint. And it'll go now and make us as the pro user. Alright. So if you want to, you can disconnect from your server, your virtual server. Go launch it on your desktop that you have. And if you go to, oh, okay, I'm going to make a connection. Now I can say I'm a pro user, and I'm going to use that difficult password that I made, and let's hope I got that right. And I'm going to hit connect, and the first time you come in there, it's going to make you redo that password, and I'll retype it again with something new this time. And I used those many letters. Let's see if it allows me. Yep, it did. So now I've logged in through my desktop. So my machine, my desktop, is now hitting the virtual server, and I can see it there. All right. So here I can go in and I can right click and say I want to make a new database. All right, so let's say I want to make a new database. I'll call it, 659P, for example, and it's going to make a new database for me, and off it goes. And now it's made a new 659P database that I have here. All right, I'm going to stop from right there from the database portion. I'm going to leave that on, and you also can install into your desktop, and I put a version into there, your ArcGIS online, your ArcGIS version. You can actually install that into your desktop. And when you do that, it's just going to ask you for your ArcGIS Online login that you typically have for ArcGIS Pro. And what you want to do in that scenario is you want to go in here, and let's say we're going to make a blank project. All right, and I'm going to call mine, for example, Project 659. All right, so I'm going to create a new project. It's putting it together and making the geodatabases for me. And there I have my new project. I'm going to add a map, say new map, and it'll pop in a new map in there. So we went from catalog tab to the new map tab, and then I'm going to add some data sets into there, and maybe I'm going to go in there and add some new data sets. Well, I have, for example, my TIFF from my image that I downloaded from processing my drone, or I have a KML. I'm going to add that KML data set to there, and it's going to come in here, and here's Wolf Creek, and there it is. There's the process data I have. Maybe I can go in here and add that TIFF that I had, so it'll go and grab that TIFF. We'll see a little bit here. It should show up. There's the TIFF that it came back with, and I'm going to add some other data sets. Maybe I'll add some TNRIS 5-foot contours. So I'm going to add some TNRIS 5-foot contours inside there, and those should show up. There they are. Those have shown up correctly. Maybe I want to go in and add the boundary data. Whatever you add, you can just keep adding data that you have that you're going to clip from. And I'm just going to clip from maybe say this, so I'll leave that at that point right there. Now what you want to do is you want to go in and you want to connect back to that database that we just connected. So in the catalog pane, if you don't see that, you would go to view and then catalog pane here. You'll see that we have this geo database that we created, our new geo database, and I want to make a connection to the one that I have. Here I want to go in and connect, and I'm going to use not the operating but the database authentication, and I'm going to call that, what was that, pro user, pro underscore user. All right, and then I need to hopefully remember all those passwords I had, and I'm going to hit that. And now if I click on that, it should give me, there we go, we should be able to see now our databases that we have created in there, and I'm going to go to the P659 database that's there. So I'm going to hit OK, and then I can make a connection to that P659 database. Connected. I tried to build it into, I need to add it to my database there, so I'm adding it to that one. Let's see that again. So let's see UAV AOI. All right, and it doesn't have a value there, and then this is optional. I'll say, you know, you could put information that you want to have for it. I'm not going to set any of those, and I'm going to hit run. Okay, so now it created that data set, and you can see it actually added it over here to my data set from that standpoint. So I have this polygon that it built for me, and it built that AUV AOI polygon, but I don't have any polygons here. But I can go in here and actually now create one, all right? And I'm gonna create it underneath here, right? And I'm gonna build a polygon. And so I might go in here and say here to here to here. Now if I double click, there, it's made that polygon, and to that created a polygon for me. And if I look at the attribute table now, I should have at least one polygon. There it is. It's made that polygon for that area that I have done. So I've created that polygon from that scenario. All right, and I can save the work that I did. Do you want to save all your edits? Yes, I want to save those. I'm going to go back down here and just make that smaller. Oh, let's close that. Okay, so now you can see the area of interest of where I'm at. Now I'm ready to clip, for example, the area that I want to clip or extract, and I'm going to get these contours right there and create a new data set. All right, so now I'm going to go into an analysis, and I'm going to use a clip function. And it says, so now I have the clip data that's there. So I've got the polygon where I flew, I've got this where I've done it, I've got that aerial images, I've got all these things that I've kind of created there. And now I want to publish this data out to my ArcGIS Online. Okay, so I can come in here and even label this, change it some different colors, make it into a better map, if you will. Okay, and I want to take this data and export this data and share it. So I'm going to go up here to share it, and maybe I want to make either a web layer, so I'm going to send individual layers out, or I'm going to send a web map. Okay, so I'm going to make a web map which will take all the layers and it will share those out. All right, okay, so now if I want to publish these layers that I have out to the web here, and you know, for this one right here, it's really the UAV area, and I might want to go in and take these contours and publish them out. Although it says UAV area of interest clip, I might want to publish this out. Now when I made the clip there, I want to make sure that I made it to where it was the correct coordinate system, and I believe that is all correct. So now if I go in here, I can go to share a web layer, and if I click on share a web layer, you know, maybe I want to call that Wolf Pin Creek. And the reason I'm putting the underscores is that it's going to be like a web page, so I can't really have the spaces. And then I put contours, and I'm going to have it put out the features. I'll put a summary, UAV clip area, and then tags, maybe contours. All right, and configuration. Content is going to do the clip data there. If I do an analyze, it'll look to see if I have any errors, like if the coordinate system wasn't correct, it didn't have something that was defined correctly, or if I had a name thing that it didn't like. So now if I just hit publish, it'll take off and run. Takes a little bit of time to upload that onto the web. Okay, so now it's finished uploading it to the web. We can hit the manage the web layer. It is going to take me to my ArcGIS Online site. If I haven't logged in, I'll need to put in my login information with my password and log into the locations, and right away it should take me to where I'm looking at the clipped area that I've created with those layer sets. Alright, and I can look at the data. Alright, and you can see the contours are in there. Visualization, I can view the information and see the area that was clipped right into that area. Very good, looks very nice. I could actually now go in and make a map, and I can say, okay, I'm going to make a map and I'm going to add data, and I'm going to search for layers, for example, and inside my organization, or I can search my own content. And I search my own content, you can see I've got some other stuff that I've created, and maybe I'll hit add there, and it'll add those contours from that standpoint. I can label those, create those how I want them. Alright, and I can take and, let's say I want to save this map. I'll hit save as, or let's hit save, and then it's going to come in here. So what do you want to call this? And we'll call it Wolf Pin Creek, and drone survey is the tag. Description of the thing is let's say drone survey. You save it in that folder, and we'll hit save. So I've saved now this map. I can go in here and say save as this map and rename it into something again and call it something different. I can go in and say share this map, and then I can share it with other individuals, everyone in the public, or just these groups. Alright, and let's say that I want to share this map, and there's the location, or I can hit create a web app. In the web app aspect of things, what's really nice is that we've got some sample maps in here that I could build it into a nice little already designed features. So let's say that I say minimalist. I'm gonna do that version and say do a preview, and here's a preview of what that looks like, and that's a web app that I could send to somebody, and then they could be able to use that. Alright, so I'm gonna just close that, go back here. I can choose any one of these different ones. I'll go ahead and say create a web app from what I was doing. What I want to call it again is Wolf, and I might be able to put spaces here. Let's say Pin, alright, Creek UAV survey. Alright, and we'll hit done from that standpoint, and now it will go in and create a nice web app for me. And once I've created that web app, I can save it and then actually share it with others. Alright, and here I'll just launch that web app, and if I give anyone my my user my URL for that map, they'll be able to see that. Alright, so you have different things you can go in here and fill out about it. You can answer some options, you can add some different tools. You could do some things to kind of spice that up, if you will, when you get through building your web map to show to somebody. Alright, well, I'm finished really with that aspect of it. Now what I want to do is I actually want to go in and make a story map. Okay, So if you come in here, you have these tools that you can use. Some of them we have with our A&M account. Story Map is one of them, and it's a really great tool to tell somebody a story about what you really did in that area. Okay, so we can look at some galleries and see some different story maps that people have put together, telling a story of something going on. All right. We can say, okay, my story maps, right, from that standpoint, and I don't really have any, so I'm going to create my first story map. And okay, what do you want it to look like? Do I want a map tour? Do I want a map journal, cascade, a map series, crowd shorts, a short list, a swipe spyglass, something basic? Maybe I want to go through a map tour, okay? And if I say a map tour in that scenario, it's going to come through here and it's going to say, I'm going to upload images from my ArcGIS. I want to upload images from some of these other locations. So I'll just say there. What a new layer, feature layer will be created for your images, and what I want to call that, I'll just say my pics. All right, and create that layer. So like if I drop pictures like of the drone, showing the drone or telling the story of how the data might have been collected from that scenario. All right. So now I have a little story map from here, and I'm not going to go through. Story map's fairly simple. There's some videos that you can watch on it. I'll post a link for that for you to be able to see that, but you'll be able to build your nice little story map. Okay, so that's a good tip to show you how to go through and work with this. If you have any questions, please give me a call, and I wish you good luck.